Hi, Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain Exchange. I'm here to teach beginners how to get started in China painting and give those of you that have been painting a while some inspiration perhaps of things that you might be able to do, and also encourage you to paint along with us. And today we're going to be talking about how to pivot, basically, how to convert jewelry that you might have around the house that's older and people aren't buying anymore, into keychains. I think a lot of people have shows coming up. And one of the things you try to do is make yourself stand out at those shows. Some of you know, I have a booth at one of the local malls. And the one thing I've learned is that a lot of the things that we have can buy for China painting are not necessarily selling any longer. People are not wearing pins, stick pins. I've got a ton of stick pins down there. I tried to look for another way that I could use some of the things that I have down there to paint. And I'll give you an example. For instance, if you have a cheese board and you're going to a show, you can, if you call that cheese board a charcuterie board, I bet you it will sell at that show much quicker than if you called it just a cheese board. So one way to pivot is to use the new terminology. I had a cheese board that I wanted to paint, and I was trying to think of a new way to use the cheese board. I'd use it as a wipe-off board. So I put lupine down one side of it and attached one of those wipe-off pens, and I made it, you could use it as a cheese board, or you could use it as a memo message center. And that was a good way of doing it. That was another pivot. What I wanted to look for is something that had a metal backing on it. So this one has a metal backing. And that way, if I turn it into a keychain, it won't, if somebody drops it, it won't break as easily as something that doesn't have any kind of a metal backing. And I'll give you an example. So I went down today because I thought, I can use all my necklaces and I can just convert them to keychains. But like this is real flimsy. See how flimsy that is and how thin it is? That won't work, because if they drop it, it's gone. And this one might hold up on a drop, but not as well, because there's nothing on the back to protect it. So that was enough, and it's fairly thin too. Can you see how thin that is? So I thought, okay, well, that's not going to work. So what I have done is I went through all my jewelry, and I found medium. I also found small, and I've tested these, and the small do work. What you're looking for is jewelry that has a little hook on top that you can put the keychain little ring through. This one's kind of tiny. It may or may not work. I'll have to play with it and see. But again, this has a metal backing. So even though these are tiny, the metal backing would protect it if somebody dropped it. Okay. Other things that I thought I could use for keychains, and I've actually done it. These are thick. See how thick those are? These are thick little necklaces that I had. These were from Freddie. I have another one like this. This one recently sold. I did forget-me-nots on it. And that one recently sold as a keychain. Here's a keychain. Here's a necklace where you can put a picture in it. Cool, huh? And then I had things that were a little flimsier. Let me see here. Here's one. This one is a little flimsier. It's thinner metal, but it's still metal. And even though it doesn't go all the way around on the back, and protect the back, it raises up so that you don't hit the stone if the stone were to fall. So these were all examples of things I have around the house. And then I went to Michael's and I got keychains. Now, originally, I don't know if you have purses and things at home. I do. And some of them have keychains up on the top of them. Now, this is what they call a jump ring. This is a gigantic jump ring. And if you need to attach the keychain to your jewelry and you don't have a jump ring, you can purchase that at like a Joann's or a Hobby Lobby or online at Amazon. They come looking like this. They're real tiny, like that. But those will help you attach your necklace to your keychain. So the other kind I found, now this one, when you put the key on, you thread it through and then it doesn't come off. This one is the kind that when you open up the side, it opens up the top and you put your keys on. It's a lot easier for a lot of people to use. Okay. Now, when you're painting your tiles, you want to put them on a plain tile like this, but put them on the back. If you put them on the front, they could adhere to the front and you may not be able to get them off. So you glue them to the back. Now, when I do that, I use Elmer's glue. I like Elmer's glue. It works really, really well for me. And the only problem is you need to let it dry. So I will put a little Elmer's glue on there, and then I will let it dry. And you can also adhere this with a number of different things. You can put it on with Elmer's glue. You can put it on with hot glue, these little tiles on here. You can use blue tack. And if you do, you know, that's that, it's like a square. Sometimes you use it on the walls to put things up, especially in elementary schools. They love blue tack. But if you use blue tack, it's going to leave a residue in the bottom of your kiln that you have to vacuum out. And then they also, you can use super glue. Now, I only use the Elmer's glue because it works for me. And it's a white school glue. And I just let it dry and then I use it. So those are your options. But you want to paint out your piece like this. And there are a couple ways you can paint this. One is you can just put a flower right on it, or you can use a wipeout method. And I'll kind of show you what I mean by that just as we get to the end of this so that you know. These bigger pieces, now when I glue on my tile, I tend to glue into the corners. And this one I'll glue like right here in the corner, and glue it so that make sure you have your top on it. If it has a top like this one does, and make sure it's facing the right direction and glue it on. And then it's easier to paint if it's in the corners. You can turn it and you won't get your hand in the other tiles that you have up there. So that works very well. Now, I just want to pretend that we're done painting it just so we can talk about how you finish up making this conversion. So you have your tile and you're going to glue it on. I use Loctite. This is Loctite. I use it for all my jewelry, but I use the gel. It's a super glue and it's a gel. And I love this stuff because the gel, first of all, stays put. If you use the clear liquid kind, it runs all over everywhere. And you just, you know, you end up with it on your fingers. You end up with it on the tile and everything. So what I do is I put a little of this, once I've painted the tile and I'm all done, I put a little of this on the tile itself, on the tile, and then I put it in here, and I press it and leave it till it's dry. And then with these, you have to kind of, I would fold these little edges in a little, and sometimes I use a palette knife, sometimes I use, but you have to be very, very careful. You don't want to like over bend them or they'll break on you. Let's see. The other thing that I use is when I'm putting on the keychain, okay, and I'm going to open it, I'm going to put you down so you can see. I have 2 pairs of pliers that I use. They're both small needle nose pliers. And let me show you the proper way to separate a ring and put it back together again, or a chain. I learned this in clock repair classes that I was taking, believe it or not. The other thing I wanted to show you before I put you down and do all that is a lot of you have difficulty seeing these small, like this size, tiles. And if you do, these are great. I got these through a Merit clock. Merit clock, repair. And they're just magnified, and you wear them over your head. There's an adjustable thing on each side. So you just put them on, you put them down. They fit over glasses. That's what I needed. See how they fit over glasses? And then when you're painting, you can get real close to what you want. They also, some of them come with lights. This one doesn't because I have a light right over my stand here. But if you're having difficulty seeing, these are great because you don't have to, it's not like that magnifying glass in front of you that you have to keep adjusting. Some people love that. Now, first of all, let me show you the right way to take apart the O-ring, okay, or a chain. Here's an example, and I don't know if you can see, but right there in the middle, I'll bring it up a little higher, there's the split. You see it there? Yeah, you can kind of, okay? So you're going to take your needle nose pliers and you're going to put them flat on this side, one set. That's why I say have two sets, and flat on this side so that the split is in between, and you're going to push one down and one up, and that will separate them. Come up. You can see that it's separated, okay? And then once you put the keychain through, or the tile through, you're going to just reverse the process. Put one on each side and push one down and one up. The reason you do that, and let me just make sure that, is because it goes back evenly. So here we are, it goes back evenly. And you don't have difficulty getting the two ends together, okay? So that's the proper way to attach the chain and to open and close the chain. Alrighty. If you're a new painter and you want to try jewelry, there are two ways you can do it. One is that you just paint what you want to paint on here. And that's pretty straightforward, I would think. So you're going to get a tiny brush. You're going to use a brush like this. This is a 4. You might also use a scroller. You might also use a pointer. These are all small brushes that you can use to help you with this. And when you're painting jewelry, you want to make sure that you know what you want to paint and where you want to paint it. Now, there are a couple of things you can do. I normally just paint. But if you're the kind that doesn't really want to just start painting, you can, for instance, if I want to do a rose here, I'm going to do just the bowl, do the inner bowl, and then I know I put the petals around it. And then if I want to maybe put a rose bud up here, I can do that. Just put the little stem up so that I know I like it. And that's enough for me to go by. If you are not comfortable with that, you can draw in the whole rose, you know, however you want to draw it in, like this and what have you. But I don't tend to do that. I tend to just do, because the more you have on here when you're trying to paint a tile, the more difficult it is to see what it is that you're doing. So I just take, and I'll do this in red because it's easier to see for you, and I load my brush. I fully load these little brushes, but I only use the side of it to make the middle of the rose, and then I'm going to, in fact, you, there we go, much better. You don't get it dark enough, that's fine. What you want are the highlights on this. Then I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to just pull away up across the top a little bit. That's the top of it. And then I'm going to put my little rose petals on the side. There's one. There's another. Here's another. And here's another, okay? Alrighty. Then the next thing I do real quick while I'm letting that set up, although I might want to wipe out a little bit of a highlight here. There we go. Is I take the same brush, clean it off, and I'm going to put my leaves around it. And this is really simple. You take a light load, full load of moss, like a side load of maybe a warm brown green, and you're just going to pull to the center. That's better. Stop, pull away. You don't have to do the bottom of the leaf because you're not going to really see the end of the leaf. So all you're doing is suggesting leaves. You're going to pull to the center. You can pull it up if you want to separate like some of these petals, and then pull away. And I'll maybe do another one up here. Pull to the center and pull away. Now there, I might need to add a little bit on the end. Okay? Then I'll go back if I want and add a little darkness. This is a little darker on this side, maybe on one side of the leaf. I don't do it everywhere because what's the point, you know? Okay, these are very, very small. Okay, now I'm going to go. I'm not going to put my background on this fire because it's so delicate that all I'm going to do is wreck it. So I'm just going to put my bud up here. Oops, too dark. Just play with it until you get it the way you want it. There. I'm going to put a little green on each side of it. This is a number 4 brush. I know it's huge. A lot of you are going, oh my God, why is she using such a big brush? I've always used big brushes. That's just me. So here's a little of this, a little green there. A little green here. Oh, come on, a little more. A little green here, a little green here. It's kind of impressionistic. I mean, think about it as impressionistic work. You don't have to have all the detail. It's nice if you do. And then I'm taking my liner and just coming down like this, my scroller. And I'm just coming down like this. I'm just going to put a little bottom there. Now I'm going to go back and correct some of this. So this is a little too much there. I'm going to just fix it. This is a little too much here. Just going to fix it. So you can fix things after the fact. Then I'm going to get my Pico-Pay. This is a Pico-Pay. And I'm going to use it to smooth down the stem. I probably need one little, I probably want one little leaf on there at least. There's one. Maybe put another one up here. All right, now this guy, let's do this guy. With him, I'm just going to take color and put across him. Pick a couple of colors and just paint. I want something a little darker. Tahiti's a little darker. Here we go. And then I'm going to go this way just to smooth it out. And then I'm going to use my eraser or my, you can use a couple things. You can use this. You can use an eraser. You can use a stump. And you can just decide, like here I want to do a little flower. So I'm just going to, there's one. There's 2. 3. See, it's getting a little dirty on the end. Oops, let's change it over. 4. And 5. And then maybe I want to put another one back over here. 1. 2. 3. 4. And maybe a little up in here. There we go. Okay. Now I'm just going to take my liner or my scroller, and I'm just going to put a little bit of green up in here, bring it down. We're going to put a little center in here, so I'm going to wipe out the center. I'm going to put a little yellow in there, using a little egg. And then I'm going to put my leaves in. I'm using my 4 again. You can use a 2 if you have it. I don't have a 2, so I have a 4. I'm going to go with the brighter green this time, because the last time I don't think the green showed up like it should. There we go. Okay, there's one. And let's put another leaf down here maybe. Get rid of that there. Just come to the middle. Come a little across and then come down. And then maybe one over here. I prefer the wipeout myself. I think it's easier to do. And then you just fire this and it's set. To paint, and here I think I could use just a little more green. Let me just put it on a pointer here and just sort of, there we go. So you've got these two, and then you're going to take, once you fire them, they will come right off of the tile. And then you're going to take and you're going to put them, now those have backings. Where are my backings for those? Okay. They have these backings. So I'm going to glue them on here. These already have the rings attached. I'm going to glue them on here, and I'm going to use my, like I said, my Loctite gel. I like the Loctite gel. There's a lot of them. You can use the Loctite gel. And you just, the cap apparently is in the drawer, but you just put the cap on and push a little bit on the back of your stone and then put it on here. It should be good. Or you can put it on here and then put the stone on. It's up to you. I mean, see here as a keychain? Yeah, I would use it. Same thing with this one. This one's so cool because you can put a picture in there. And as a keychain, would I use it? Let me just put this down here. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, and then these too. As a keychain, this is what they would look like. Just come here. Come here. Just to give you an idea of what they look like as keychains. Alrighty. Pick up those brushes, keep painting. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.